Welcome back to Talkin Texas Forever, a Friday Night Lights podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Liz.
We're discussing Season 3, Episode 7, Keeping Up Appearances. Original air date November 12th, 2008. Written by Bridget Carpenter and directed by Chris Eyre. JD's skills are put to the test at Friday night's rival game. Landry thinks he is over Tyra when he meets Devin, who seems to be the perfect girl.
She is, though.
She is. Do you remember my friend Serena from high school? Or in
Serena.
college? Serena, she looks exactly like Devin, spoke like Devin, dressed like Devin, was in a band like Devin.
That's hysterical. No, actually, I don't remember her.
No? Oh my gosh. So every time she's on screen, I think of Serena. And Aunt watched this episode with me tonight. I was like, doesn't she remind you of Serena? And he's like, oh my God, she does.
I mean, it's so vague, and it's so funny that you had a friend named Serena. Like, what are the chances of that?
And what's really funny is for so long when I thought of Serena's, I thought of her.
And now do you just think of Blake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
That's funny.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. So Lila's siblings, they came to visit, and Buddy is so excited naturally. I mean, what father wouldn't be? But they have changed. They have turned into teenagers, and it's off to a very rocky start. For one, as soon as they get off the airplane, Buddy brings up football, and Buddy Jr. says he's more into soccer.
What a dig. A dig it, Buddy. Like, we don't give a shit about football.
We also come to learn that they're vegetarians. Tabby doesn't want to have sing-alongs because she now has pubic hair.
So freaking good. I'm like, so Tabby good. Is the vibe. Tabitha all the way.
Yeah. I love me some Tabby. Buddy and Lila, they have a plan that they're going to take the kids camping, and they're not having it. And Buddy is so hurt that Kevin has clearly taken the role of dad. So much so that the kids have everything to say. They say, like, Texas is fascist. They don't eat, well, right?
Well,
they don't eat meat. And Buddy ends up throwing these super expensive steaks that he has in the woods, which to me, I'm like, what a way to attract wildlife to your campsite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not the smartest. This leads to Buddy taking off. He storms off. Lila, who's so sweet in this episode.
Yeah, she really is Daddy's little girl.
I love her so much. She's just trying to console her dad of like, it'll get better. Don't worry about it. She ends up finding Buddy walking the campsite street, which in the Discord you said all you could think about is murder.
Well, I was like, well, it just seemed, Buddy walking on a dark road at night. I'm like, what's going to happen? Is the hitchhiker is he going to get picked up by someone? But then I see Lila. I'm like, obviously I know he's okay, but there's still part of me that when I watch TV for podcasting, I'm thinking something ridiculous is going to happen. But no, this is actually a normal show.
Yeah, I reminded you this isn't that show and this isn't season 2.
And yes, and I LOL'd when you said it wasn't season 2. I guess season 2 was the only weird season. Are you looking forward to 4 and 5?
Yeah, I really enjoy 4 and 5.
I mean, again, so that's great.
No, there's some things that maybe we'll get into storyline wise. You're like, oh man, seriously, but it's not murder season 2.
Okay. All right. I mean, and it was like, if that was the craziest thing that happened on the show, it's, I mean, a real life situation. Things like that happen all the time, even in Texas. So,
yeah.
While it was a weird season, I get in the span of 5 seasons, why that would be the weirdest one.
And why, if you talk to anybody who's a fan of Friday Night Lights or anybody who has seen the show, they're like, the show is so good. Except 2.
I think it's so funny. It's like a consensus around the globe.
Yeah. Anyway, Lila consoles Buddy after she picks him up. Like, it's okay. I still love you. I'm still here for you. They all go to Friday night's game. And the kids end up having a really good time, and we see them bond again. So this was really sweet.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Lila in this episode. I think this is probably my favorite Lila episode yet, because I feel like in the past couple of weeks we haven't done a lot with her. And I was glad to see her, and I really loved this episode. I think it was probably my favorite one since like season 1. You
I
know?
agree. I agree. I love this episode so much. And I was thinking before we came on to record that this is pretty much a perfect episode. We just didn't have any Matt and Julie. We had Julie's face for a hot sec
For
during
one
the game,
second.
but
Yeah.
no Matt. Very little Tim, but truly the heart of Friday Night Lights was in this episode.
Yeah. And the heart of Tim was in
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
What Tim is and who he is. And it was refreshing. I mean, while I love Matt, his storylines are very depressing. And so it's nice to kind of see everyone get a little bit uplifted in this episode. And we did shine light on Jamarcus, which was great. I wonder, we'll get there. So I won't jump ahead. Continue,
Yeah.
please.
We're going to continue with the Taylors. They're invited to have dinner with the McCoys. And Eric reluctantly agrees to go to this.
It's the next day.
It's the next day. He brings up the awkward church moment. And Joe kind of brushes it off, even though Eric would like to explore it a little bit more. And Joe's like, it's not going to happen again. We don't need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric's kind of like, you're missing the point. I don't actually want you to be involved as much as you are on the field with your son. It's
Right.
taking away from like, that's what I got from it. Like, please back off a little bit. I know you're the dad and I know you're trying to do your best. And again, at this point, I know you were saying in the Discord list that you're not triggered by Joe. And I'm like,
I mean, if I really think about it, yeah.
Yeah. But you brought up a good point last week about how you're used to dance moms.
Yeah.
You're kind of
He honestly, I am desensitized, and I'm also desensitized by all the other crap parents we've watched in the last 5 years. I said he's a prime example of he wishes he was Dan Scott. You know what I mean? Like Dan Scott, this was him season 1, season 2, season 3, maybe season 4, season 5. He's just I don't even know if he's worse. Honestly, beginnings of Dan, pretty much the same.
Yeah, he's not as bad as Dan.
Okay.
Dan was worse. Dan Scott is most definitely, I think, the worst father
on television that we've watched. Well, what about Bart Bass? Bart Bass is awful.
It's so funny, right? Like we have our shows, but I always look at the wall I have of our show. We have like the poster, our icon images, and it helps me like remember, like, oh, don't forget about Bart Bass, your Gossip Girl.
Yeah, don't. Bart Bass is probably the worst father in any of the shows that we've podcasted about thus far.
Yeah, because he doesn't really redeem himself.
No, and he's crooked through and through, and even in his last moments of life, or it's still like, you're a fucking piece of shit, son. Yeah. You always disappointed me.
That's true. Good point. But throughout this episode, we see Joe continue to be overbearing at practice. He's like yelling at JD to do certain things, and coach has to tell him over and over, like, please step off the field. Let me do my job. So we get to Friday night's game, and JD is completely distracted because Joe keeps throwing and yelling things to him, like, hey, you got to bend your arm this way. We practiced all week. And even Buddy speaks up, like, it's okay. Like, let the kid play.
He's like, yeah, no problem. We'll get it next time. It's not fine. To worry, dude.
And so we get to halftime, and of course Joe runs to JD to, talk to him about like, what's going on? Why are you screwing up? And coach tells him, like, please stop. Let him play. Do not be yelling things, and let me coach my player. And then taps him, which
I loved. I loved the tap. But this guy brought his son to this school specifically for Coach Eric Taylor and the Dillon Panthers. So just trust that coach knows what he's doing, and stop trying to involve yourself so much. You're driving your kid and everyone else in the town crazy because he's so obnoxious about how much he needs his son to be a winner. Obviously, he's got a lot of things he needs to work out in therapy, that he needs to project this on his son because he was obviously never good enough for maybe his dad or something. It's just like Dan Scott, like a never-ending spiral. of disappointment.
But it's also so much more than winning because
Right.
we see that coach tells JD, like, do not pay attention to your dad. You're going to make the plays. I have full confidence in you. Trust yourself. And JD helps the Panthers win the game. Everybody's excited. And Joe leaves because Joe wasn't able to influence his son's plays. So even though JD won,
Yeah.
that wasn't good enough. You didn't listen to me. And so
Right.
it's a control
He's just
issue.
a big ass baby. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's has to be in control of every single move that everyone makes in his family. And when he doesn't get his way, he really is a big baby about it. It's
And
not good.
we have this like sad but sweet moment at the end. Obviously, JD is really excited, and Katie, his mom, is so excited. But all JD can think about is like, where's dad? Is dad mad at me?
Right. I disappointed him. I'm gonna get in
Yeah.
trouble.
And they made it to the playoffs. This is a
Yeah.
huge deal. And
Mm-hmm.
Katie's like, it's fine. I've known your dad forever. He just needs some time. Let's go get some junk food. Katie, sweet woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man is toxic AF.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
So yes, guys, I am triggered by him, but I'm not as triggered as I'm just as equally triggered as I was to any other pathetic parent on any show.
That's fair.
I'm expecting it from him. So
That's fair. That's fair. And I feel like every week I've been saying it more and more. Like, all right, so it kind of desensitizes
yeah,
you
I'm
a
just
little
like,
bit.
I guess, yeah, he's just a dick.
Right. He is who he is. Tammy, she is dealing with a student named Marcus who happens to be on the football team. He keeps having issues, and this particular issue in this episode is that he set a girl's hair on fire.
Yeah, what's that about?
We don't
Do
really
we know the
talk too much.
particulars? Did he do it on purpose? Did he do it on accident? We don't know. Why are
No.
we making this kid look like he's a bad kid? Maybe he did it by accident.
Yeah, well, he's been in Tammy's office numerous times.
Yeah.
But the fact that he set a girl's hair on fire and the chem lab has to be closed, which we find out later on. So when
Wouldn't
he
you think he'd get
suspended,
detention or suspended? But no, he gets to play in Friday night's game.
right. And so
Well,
Mac,
because coach had something to say about it.
well, that's the thing. Mac brings him in, and Mac is like, "Hey, Tammy, don't you think coach should be involved in this conversation?" And Tammy's like, "No, I'm the principal. This is an issue. You shouldn't be able to have the privilege to play football if you're acting
Mm-hmm.
up like this." So she has a meeting with his parents to find out that his parents have no idea he's a Panther and he forged the signatures. So besides the fact that he's getting in trouble, he forged signatures. This is the
It's
bigger
just a
issue
bad
here.
it's just bad news all around. This kid's got a lot of ish.
Yeah, and so when Tammy goes to fill in coach is like watching game plays, and she's like, Jamarcus was in my office. He set a girl's hair on fire, and coach is just like, huh, set a girl's hair on fire. Like totally doesn't regard it or tune in until she's like, yeah, he's not going to be able to play in Friday night's game, and then coach flips out.
Flips out.
I need this player to play in my game. My
Well,
fullback.
too fucking bad.
Right.
Maybe
So
have a talk man to man about it and say like what's going on here? What do you need from me? Do you need some help?
yeah,
Because you can't play because you fucked up.
again,
Again, the third time this week. What the hell?
what's happening? So coach and Mrs. Coach, they go to Jamarcus' parents' house. They talk about how it's so much more than football. His parents are not like the typical Dylan residents. They don't buy into the whole football thing.
It's very refreshing.
It is refreshing. They're all of us, right, watching this. And Tammy comes in to save the day and say, listen, like, I felt the same way you did, but truly, my husband does so much with these players and truly could help them. Please come to Friday night's game and see what a community this is. And then you can make your own judgment call. And so they agree to go. And ultimately, they are very proud of their son.
Is Jamarcus on the island?
Good question.
Because I know we saw him last week.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this was like a continuation. It's all right. You can get back to me on that.
I feel like I don't clock him because I'm just like, I think this was just an example to show Coach and Mrs. Coach acting together and how this team is so much more. I'll get back to you. I'll look it up on break. I'll look it up on break. Billy, he questions Jason about a recruitment letter that Tim received and asks him for help. Like, what can I do? I know Tim and you know Tim doesn't have the grades, but like, is there something we can do to help his chances getting into college? And so Jason suggests putting together a highlight reel. And so throughout this episode, we see Billy and Jason working together for the reel, and it's so sweet.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, they all view it. We have a family moment over pizza, and we see Coach speak in the video. He says Tim is the toughest kid. He's got fortitude.
Fortitude.
Then, I know. And then Billy saying how proud he was when he got the ring.
The proudest moment of his whole life is Tim getting the ring.
Oh my
So
Billy,
sweet.
you sweet brother and
really, really
caretaker.
Sweet.
I know. The boys have finished the remodel, which in my opinion was super quick, but
yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, two are in a wheelchair.
Right.
One's in high school playing football.
Right.
I guess because Billy's unemployed. They're all unemployed. I don't know. Whatever. The remodel is done. They decide they're going to sell the house themselves and have an open house, which leads to a miscommunication about the price. They can't believe that Jason wants to sell it for $295 when they would all be fine with $265, and we're all over here like $295 is a wonderful, beautiful price.
$295 is a beautiful price.
We'll take it.
That is a steal. I said this place has a fireplace, 2 floors, wood. It's a steal. $295.
Got wood.
You got wood. It's got doors. You're good. Okay.
You're good. Yeah, Jason and Herc get into it. They get into a fist fight, if you will, over the price. And Jason ends up flipping out and saying, I need this. Aaron is in the Northeast with my son, and Billy needs this for the wedding, and Tim needs this for college. Like, we all need this, and we're not settling. And ultimately, they get an offer at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah, and like Herc and Jason were both like really emotional.
Yeah.
Because they're besties, and they pick at each other, but they don't really truly fight. Yeah. And so I guess after that, realizing like they got so worked up about it, and that both of them are in need of this money, all of them are in need, that they like realized what was the bigger picture.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I love their friendship.
Me too.
I'll be sad to see them go. I have a feeling when Jason goes, also Herc will go, because that would make the most sense.
Yeah, we have time, though. We have some time.
Okay, good.
At the Panther game, Jason sees an old teammate and is introduced to his potential agent. And the agent shares his card with Jason and said if he's ever in New York to hit him up, this is a light bulb moment, which he ends up talking to Lila at the end of the episode, asking her, does she think that he would make a good agent? And she's like, you could do anything. You're so much more than football, so much more than Dylan. And you're leaving, aren't you? She has tears. He has tears. I loved this moment.
I loved this moment. It was so mature and special, and like to think about where they started and now where they're ending. Yeah. These two people who were in love with each other and dated, and then had that whole bad thing with friends cheating, girlfriends cheating, and look where they are now. They forgive each other, and it was really, really sweet. It was my favorite scene of the whole episode.
And I love that he shared it with her first.
Yeah.
Because these two, like you said, have been through everything, but surely still share a real bond together.
Yeah, I think we're to assume that they've known each other since they were kids, Yeah. Well, they are still kids to me, but, so kids. Sweet. Older kids.
Last but not least, Landry.
Oh, Landry. Landry.
He continues to try to get over Tyra. So they're in the music room, him and Devin. She starts playing She Don't Use Jelly on the piano by the Flaming Lips, which this song is so damn good. And after last week's episode, I just kept playing it in my car. I'm like, this is the perfect karaoke song.
Yeah, anyway, so her piano version was super cute.
So cute. And she tries to console him like, it's okay. She kisses him on the head. Like, tomorrow's a new day. Everything's going to be better.
It's so natural. It was
Yeah.
so natural. Like the chemistry was so good.
Yeah. Landry drives Devin home. She invites him in and he says, let's just talk in the car. He goes to kiss her. She smiles. They exchange a moment. So at this point, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, this is cute. Then this makes Landry think, great, I have a girlfriend. I'm going to go tell Tyra about it at work. I'm happy you have a boyfriend, Tyra. I now have a girlfriend. Maybe we could just be friends. What
Oh,
do you think about
Landry.
this?
I
What do you
thought
think
it
about
was
this?
so typical Landry. I just wish he would keep his damn mouth shut. I wish Mama Clark was around to be like slap him on the back of the head like I'm helping you. I'm saving you here because you're about to make a big mistake.
Oh,
And Tyra's like, "Yeah, actually I would love that. I'm happy for you." And then he walks away and she's kind of like giggling like, "What? That was random that he came in."
and unnecessary.
And of course unnecessary. And then Landry's like kicking himself
Well,
because turns out
yeah. So Landry approaches Devin at school and he's like, hey, you want to come over after, or you want to hang out after practice? We can go get some cobbler. And she's like, I'm a lesbian and kissing you
Ugh.
ensured that.
Yeah, confirmed I like girls. Poor Landry.
It's sweet for both. Like, I'm happy Devin shares her secret, as she calls it. I feel bad for Landry because of the way it was delivered to him. I'm sure as a teenage boy, where you're at, that is not the easiest to receive.
No. No.
So he's sad about this. Obviously, he's in the library. Tammy comes in to ask him about the chem lab, his club, and she ultimately gives him some advice because he asks her about like girls and what's going on. And she just says, this is the beginning of your life. And you're going to go to a great college and you're going to have a great life and you're going to have all these girls swooning after you. Don't you worry. I'm always right.
It's so good. That
It's so
conversation was so
good.
sweet. And Landry really needs that
Yeah.
because he lacks in that self-confidence department. And it's so true. Like, unfortunately, in the real world, that's when people like Landry blossom is like get out of high school, like get out of their stupid small town, and people were like want to mingle with people who are not like them. And Landry is literally perfect. He is the sweetest and smartest and like most genuine guy that any person would love to be his friend or be his partner. He just has to wait a little bit. It sucks, but
He'll get
he's the
there.
best. He's literally the best.
He'll get there. We end with Devin coming to band practice. She doesn't want things to be weird. Landry says, not at all. I'm sorry for the way I reacted.
Yeah,
Let's
how
play some
perfect.
music. Let's
Again,
play
he's
some music.
apologizing.
Yeah. And they jam. So it's great.
Yeah, and he's like, I love like he's like, it's cool. Like he just gets it.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever you want.
Great.
I love it. I love their friendship. I hope this continues on for a long time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, our patron, Kate, is going to join us.
Yay!
Right. Welcome back from break. So exciting. We are joined by our Total Betty patron, Kate. Welcome to Talkin Texas Forever. She's wearing her Talkin Texas Forever sweatshirt.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yay. So, Kate, I know you're a newbie to this show. So I would love to know, well, we would love to know, what do you think so far? What, like, are you caught up? Are you watching week to week?
Yeah, so I'm watching along with you guys, just one episode per week, before listening to the podcast. So no, not watching ahead. And I'm really enjoying the show. It's really good. This is a show that was on my watch list for a long time, mostly because I have heard over the years from several different sources about how great Tammy and Eric's relationship is, and they're just, hashtag couples goals. So that's kind of what drew me in, and the reason I wanted to watch. I'm not really into football.
Well, yeah. You're here with the right people.
Okay.
As you know, each week, neither are we. And usually I'm like, hey, Aunt, what does this mean? And we get off and I'm like, Liz, do you think I didn't talk about football enough? Like, how many times have I said that? Like, oh shit, I forgot to mention.
She's like, last week I didn't mention them
Yeah.
playing football. I'm like, well, they play football like almost every week.
Yeah, I think the football talk is just the right amount.
Okay, great.
Cool. Thanks. So before we get into questions and rapid fire from a couple of our listeners, do you have any questions for us or any topics you want to discuss about this episode?
Well, I guess the first thing was, I mean, I really thought this was a fun episode. There was a lot of good stuff. The Landry and Devin thing, I totally misread that situation, but then I was wondering if that was by design because even rewatching, I had watched the episode before the Discord chat tonight, and even rewatching tonight, I was trying to like pick up, see if there were any hints before, but it really seemed like she was really into Landry up until the moment when he tried to kiss her in the car, and then I was like, well, her reaction was a little bit strange. So I was just wondering what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't think she was necessarily into him. I thought obviously there was a chance that Landry would be into her because it's Landry. But yeah, they don't give you any indication that she is not interested in men. But I feel like they didn't give you any indication that she's interested in Landry. I felt like the way she gave him like a sweet kiss on the cheek, I was like, oh, she's super comfortable with him. It seemed like she just loves him like as a friend. He's a great person. But yeah, I honestly didn't see it coming at all. I'm like, whoa, that was a change I did not expect, but here for it.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, this is my second time watching, obviously, because the first time I watched it years ago. And I remember Devin as a character, but I didn't remember this whole thing. And I definitely did not remember when she kisses Landry and then later tells him, oh, I'm definitely a lesbian. And your kiss made me realize that.
Yeah.
And so while you're happy that Devin shares with Landry and Landry says, hey, it's not a big deal, we're comfortable, it's like I felt for Landry too, because someone on the receiving end of that, I'm sure, was not, especially in the place he's in, it's probably like, oh man,
yeah,
when I'm down, geez, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought his reaction was great. I mean, he was a little shocked at first, but
Yeah.
then at the band practice, he was so gracious, and I just thought it was really sweet.
Yeah. He's just great. I love him.
I do too. Yeah.
Were there any other topics you wanted to discuss?
Well, this came up in the chat. I was going to ask if you guys like camping.
I think I could speak for the both of us. No.
No, you're not campers.
Yeah, just yeah. My friends and I, for next year, there's a park, I guess a campsite in Pennsylvania where you can see the meteor shower. I guess it's going to be happening between July and August. And they're all talking about going. And I was like, this sounds great, guys, but I know who I am. And there will need to be a glamping situation, or I will need to be somewhere where there's a running toilet, or at least just a toilet stand, like little room where I could go. I've never gone camping, but even I've camped in A-frames, and even that it just wasn't right for me. Are you a camper? Do you like camping?
Oh yeah, I love camping.
Yes. You do? Yeah.
Kate's like, you guys don't like to camp, huh? All right.
But I mean,
I can't say that I've ever really been camping anyway, so.
I mean, I don't really enjoy like really roughing it. You know, we take an air mattress and you know, that sort of thing. So
see, like I would do an air mattress. I think I'm more thinking of there's one way, and when I think of camping, I automatically go to roughing it. Like,
yeah,
let me just
outside in a tent on the ground.
Like grab a
blanket. Yeah, I can't sleep on the ground.
Making a fire out of sticks. Yeah. Not for me.
There was, oh gosh, maybe I've told this story. On our honeymoon, we stayed in off the grid part of California, and we stayed in an A-frame, and there was just a bucket outside your little cabin that you went in, and I got it. My sister-in-law, she was like, oh, you should get the Go Girl. Do you know what a Go Girl is?
I have one. Yes.
You do? Okay. I did not master it. And I attempted to try it. It's essentially a funnel, so you can go to the bathroom and standing up or squat, make it easier. And I tried it the first time I had to use it, which was pitch black off the side of a mountain. And I had Ant shining his flashlight to help me. And it went, I peed my pants, leggings, all of just soaked. And I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I was like, Aunt, we need to go. We need to get out of here. And I stopped at Starbucks. I changed. And then the next night we stayed at this Airbnb mansion in San Francisco. So I was like, well, just experiencing it all.
I've never tried any of those.
I also had stage fright too. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, yeah.
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 Anyway, enough about that. Yeah. All right. I want to go into some rapid fire that Vic sent us for you, Kate. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Jason or Tim?
Jason.
Tyra or Lila?
Tyra.
Matt and Landry friendship or Tyra and Julie friendship?
Tyra and Julie.
Who would be your best friend?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Landry, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Who would you want together, even as a friendship? So something that we haven't seen yet, maybe.
Sorry, I know I'm supposed to answer quickly, but
yeah, I don't know how you could with this one.
I'm
struggling.
Yeah,
Same.
I'm kind of stumped here.
Okay, let's move on. Do you like Tim with Lila?
I do, yes.
Do you like a different couple that's not Tammy and Eric?
I like Matt and Julie.
Yeah. I think they're super cute. I
They are
loved
cute.
last week's episode with them.
Yeah, I was so disappointed that they weren't in this episode.
I know.
I mean, we got a glimpse of Julie at the game, but
Right.
Matt was
Her
nowhere
cheek.
to be seen. Yeah.
And I was thinking that too when the boys were out in the field. I'm like, is Matt here?
Right.
Is he on the bench? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Would you lie to your parents about joining a sport or club?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm trying to think. I was not an athletic child or teen. So I'm trying to think if I would lie to them about joining a club, but there's no club in high school that I think they would frown upon.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys ever forge your parents' signature for something?
Always.
Really?
I mean, I was a lot of times when my parents were present, but I have also done it where they weren't present, but not a lot in high school for things. I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
I don't think I had to bring home anything.
Oh, okay. What about you, Kate? Did you forge your parents' signature?
Yeah, I had a rough patch in high school where I wasn't getting very good grades, and so I think I might have forged a signature on a report card.
Right, to show that they saw it, but however, maybe they didn't.
That was always interesting to me, and I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's different now, but they would send your report card home with you, and then you have to show it to your parents, and then so you're putting a lot of trust in the student.
Yeah.
Is everything online now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? It's we have a piece of paper with the grades. Kids online are just click of a button, they can check all of their grades. Their parents can see it. So easy.
Yeah, I've definitely lied to my parents about grades.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely fudged a little there. Thank you, Vic. We'll move on to Mike. Mike wants to know, do you think JD's relationship with his father is based on fear? Do you think his father was a good football player when he was younger and missed out on the opportunity to go pro and is now forcing his dream on JD? So what do you think, Kate?
Yeah, I think that sounds like an accurate assessment of the situation. Totally.
Agreed.
Are you irritated by him? Do you get frustrated with him, or you not there yet. Like Liz is starting to, but she just sees him as kind of like an intense sport parent.
Oh, I think he's terrible. I can't stand him.
I mean, he's not great.
Mhm.
I don't think he's a good person, but I'm not like triggered by it because I feel like I've seen it before.
Mm.
You know, I honestly, and I keep bringing this up, but I feel like he's Dan Scott. Dan Scott, who couldn't make it in high school, is now pushing his kid to be the number one player on the team. Like, I get it. I see it. And so, yeah, Mike's description makes a lot of sense that he could have won pro, maybe hurt his knee, couldn't play, and is focusing all of his energy on his kid. And yeah, I think their relationship is based out of fear. I think he thinks he loves his dad because his dad puts a lot of effort into him, but really I think it's his dad is doing it selfishly because he needs something to be fulfilled in his life. And I don't think JD realizes that yet. And I hope, sooner than later he will, but that's kind of something you don't know until you're in your 30s and you go to therapy. So you're like,
really
that's why my
sad.
dad was doing that.
That's so sad though.
It is. It's sad. And that I keep thinking about how Bobby's like, I hate JD McCoy. And I'm like, but can you blame this kid? I mean, he obviously hasn't done anything bad yet, but look at who his parents are. He didn't stand a chance.
Kate, how do you feel about JD at this point?
I guess I really don't have an opinion on him yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I to be honest with you, as Liz just said, my brother-in-law hates him with a very large passion. Every time I see my brother-in-law in person, we'll talk about Friday Night Lights and he talks about how much he hates JD. And
he's like 15.
And I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
surprising.
yeah. And I'm like, when do we get there? I don't remember. Like, he's not that bad yet. And we feel for him.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, Bobby watches this show religiously though. So you think that his opinions would change as he gets older and has his life experience, but he's adamant on a no, I hate JD McCoy. So I guess we'll see when we get there, if we get there.
Yeah. Was Lance really over Tyra when he told her, or was he trying to force himself like Devin to act like he moved on from Tyra?
Oh, I think that was totally forced. Yeah.
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 He's still moping about her.
Like, please don't do this. Don't do this. Just stop. Shut your mouth. No.
Yeah.
Will Tim get into college, and will Lila and him stay together if he does? So this is such a fun question because you two are newbies. So I would love to hear what you both think about this.
Go ahead, Kate.
Well, yeah, I think Tim will get into college. I mean, they made him this great highlight reel, so that should help. I don't think that he and Lila will stay together, though.
Agreed. Do you know anything, any spoiler type things for the show, or you completely know nothing?
I know nothing.
Oh, that's great. So you're basically like me, where I know nothing except for like a hair of things that happened towards the end of the season, but then that's it.
Yeah, you just keep thinking that Cash is in a cult.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that to occur.
I'm over that. It's just the Jason stuff.
So
I know what happens
on that. You're like,
I was
in a cult. I'm like,
but I was waiting for it to get more involved, which it might very well happen still with Cash. But I agree, Kate. I think Tim will get into college. I don't know where he'll get into college. Maybe I don't know, is there... scratch that thought. I was like, is there any teams that are like, any schools that are near Dillon? Because I, for some reason, don't feel like Tim is leaving Dillon. I've said this before. He'll get into college. I just don't know if it will be very, very far. And I think him and Lila will, I guess, go on two separate paths. And I don't know if they'll come back together. I enjoyed them in this episode. The more I see them, the more I enjoy them, the more I'm like okay with it. But I still, something about it, and I don't know if it's just like a jealousy thing with Tim, that I'm like, nah, no one can have Tim Riggins. But I don't know. To the question with Nick before, I was like, who could I see like pairing Tim up with? And then I went back to when him and Julie were hanging out that one day.
Mm.
And I was like, that would be kind of fun. But as you guys know, Julie is not my favorite person. So
What?
I feel like there's no one worthy of Tim Riggins, even though Tim Riggins is like not worthy of anything. I don't know.
Wait. Are you back to not liking Julie?
I mean, she's not my favorite. She's okay.
Because
I
season
have
one,
like,
you were all about Julie.
was I?
Yes. Yes. You loved her and Tyra together, which
Oh, I
yes.
still do. I still do. I think that they have a good friendship. I like them as a pairing. Julie just rubs me the wrong way sometimes. And I don't think I'll get over that.
Do you feel the same, Kate, about Julie?
Yeah, kind of. I appreciate Julie's character though. I really think she's one of the most accurate portrayals of a teenage girl that I have ever seen on TV.
Yes.
But that also makes her kind of insufferable.
Yes. I thoroughly agree. You hit the nail on the head. That's how I feel about her. So while I shouldn't judge her, it's just frustrating to watch her act like a typical teenager. She's like the teenager that you never really see on TV because they're always acting so adult.
Mhm.
You know, all the shows that we podcasted about, everyone's been so adult and having babies in high school and, not even going to high school. They're drinking at a bar, as we know, Gossip Girl. But like,
Mhm.
she's very much like, no, I am still just 16 years old. So
Yeah.
kudos to the writers and to Amy because it's very believable.
It is, yeah.
Our last question from Mike is, who would you rather have as your sports agent? Jason, Clay, who's from One Tree Hill, or Veronica Townsend from the OC?
Oh, Veronica Townsend. Jason Street.
Yeah.
Jason fucking Street.
I'll also say Jason Street, but I don't know who the other two are.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You don't need.
No, you don't need to know
them.
Okay.
Jason is the clear answer here.
Clay was one of Michelle's like absolute least favorite characters on One Tree Hill, and Veronica Townsend is a bitch, so we don't want to represent her in any way. But Jason Street, like I felt this so much. I'm like, this is it. This is it.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect.
Perfect for him.
Yeah, it's really special.
Like he still gets to stay in the sports world. He knows the game. He knows what to look for with players. He knows how to help them. He literally made him this reel of all, to promote him. He could very well do that with someone else. So he's going to be great. He's perfect. Perfect.
Will wants to know, are Buddy's kids on the island?
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, probably. I liked bringing them in, and I asked if they were the same actors because honestly, I didn't even remember what they looked like. Yeah. But glad that they brought in the same actors to play. I like the continuity there to keep up with the appearances. But yeah, I think it's just really like a Lila Buddy thing they're gonna have going for the rest of the show.
I told you I would look up if Jamarcus was on the island. He is not.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, Liz was asking that, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
and
because
Devin
I felt
is
like
not either. Because
well,
I was
good. I
waiting
hope
for that
not.
to come too.
Yeah, I would hope not because I look forward to seeing her and Landry progress into good friends.
Yeah.
And Jamarcus, I'm interested to see what the hell is up with this kid. Like what's going on? Why are we doing these things? What is the fire situation?
Okay. Like why wasn't there more
You can't just like throw that in and then just like
fire?
ignore that was like what happened.
Yeah.
They made it seem like he like pulled some kid's pants down or something stupid. But no, he literally lit someone's hair on fire and then they never go back to even why he did it and how bad it was, but obviously they shut down the lab, so it was bad. Like what? Like details. That was silly.
Kind of like details, but also just bigger picture.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into our other segments. Kate, what was your favorite quote of the episode?
Well, I have two.
Okay.
So first is all this time I thought it was just a dumb game that this whole whacked out town is obsessed with.
I loved it.
So good.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about football. Um, should I say my other one or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, my second one was Tammy. I'm right 100% of the time. You can ask my husband.
I loved that too. I love that. I used to not have pubic hair.
And mine was pubic hair is not a swear.
Those are good.
Tabby Garrity coming through here.
That whole thing cracked me up so much. That whole scene.
But
Mhm.
like typical teenagers. I felt they acted the way teens are gonna act if they're living away from Texas. You know?
Totally.
Yeah. MVP and shittiest. Does everyone have their MVP and shittiest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MVP was hard, but
Yeah, it was hard. Because everyone was pretty good in this episode.
I think shittiest is pretty clear though.
Yeah. Kate, we'll start with you. Who was your MVP?
Okay, I have three written down, but I'll just pick one. I'll say Landry.
Good choice. Good choice. Liz?
I picked Tammy.
That's one of
Another
mine.
good choice.
Yeah.
I have Lila.
Yeah, I almost went with Lila.
Yeah.
I almost did.
Yeah.
And I have a blue ribbon for Billy, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who were your other two, Kate?
Tammy and Jason.
Yeah. Great choice. I mean, there are so many good choices this episode. Shittiest? Kate, who do you have?
Joe McCoy.
Yeah. Same.
I also had Joe, but we had votes for Tabby and Bud.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Buddy
Buddy.
Jr.
Yeah.
Buddy Jr.
Oh,
the
Buddy
kid.
Jr.
But they came, I don't know. They were
Yeah,
kids.
they're just kids, yeah.
They're just kids. Yeah.
Right. And that's what you do at that age. And they've been through a lot. You know, their parents separating, getting divorced. They live with now the mom's fiance. Did they get married? Oh, they got married? Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't blame them. They're very impressionable.
And they came around at the end. They enjoyed the
did.
football game, wanted Sundays, even though it's dairy.
Yeah.
I loved
Oh,
that.
that was cute. Yeah, I love
cute,
that.
yeah.
It's so cute. Coach's Corner. What was everyone's favorite moment?
I liked when Coach and Tammy went to Jamarcus's parents' house.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Yeah, like the tag team, and Tammy's like, "This is my husband. He's gonna get your son places." That was great.
Yeah, that's good.
And then after he opens up the car door for her.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you opening the car door for me? Because I like gave you a little pep talk in there."
Compliment.
Yeah, compliments.
I have the Tammy giving her speech to Landry.
I also had that.
That was good too.
Yeah,
I really loved that moment.
I love that too. She just was perfect. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
I just love her so much.
Before we go into our Betty housekeeping, Kate, were there any other questions or topics you want to discuss for this episode?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go into a booster of the week. Liz, who are we supported by this week?
Well, funny enough, Kate is here. I know it's funny you weren't the original patron because Will was unable to do it, but I'm so glad that you came on for this episode because this week I really wanted to shout you out and highlight you and thank you so much for being with us. So sweet, and we love that we're getting to know you more in the Discord chat and on Patreon. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, and we're so happy that you got to come on and join us for this week's episode. It was a really good episode. Like, you got a really good episode.
It was a really good episode. Well, thank
know?
you guys. I'm having a great time. So
Yay,
the whole
I'm
thing,
so
the Discord chat and all of it.
Thanks, Kate.
I'm
and
glad.
Seriously, I love all your emails every week and just the sweet words you've shared. I truly appreciate, like, this is the best part. So and the fact that you're rocking a Talkin Texas Forever hoodie, like,
yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. I also want to say a very happy birthday to some of our Betties, Vic, Logan, and Ryan. Happy birthday to
Happy
everyone.
birthday.
And we
Happy
have
birthday.
and we have a new member of the Full Hearts tier over on Patreon, Kimberly. Hello. Welcome.
Woohoo!
Yay. All right, guys, let's pick an emoji for this week's episode. What does everyone think?
A steak? Is there a steak?
I was thinking a tent. Is there
Me
a tent?
too.
Oh, a tent? That's
Kate, I was
better.
thinking
That's way
tent
better.
Too. Yes, for camping. So what you can do, you can stick a tent in an Apple Podcast review. You can send it to us on Discord. Send us an email, talkintexasforever@gmail.com. Or you can send it over on Instagram, Total Betty Podcast Network, so we know you listened to this episode. You could say, pitch a tent and get comfy as you listen to this
Pitch a
episode.
tent.
That's it. I don't you know,
We try.
You guys will figure it out, but I think 10 is great. All right. So usually at this point, I give the episode for next week, but we are going to be on break. So the next time you guys hear us will be January 9th. But before then, you can send us questions and comments, talkintexasforever@gmail.com for our next episode. So because we're more than halfway done with this season, I just want to hear what you two feel are going to happen this season and what you would like to happen this season.
Yeah. Well, Jason Street, love him. See many things in his bright future. This will be the end of his chapter, I guess. I mean, are we like gonna go by the end of the season? It's gonna be like the end of the school year. They're going to the playoffs. Right. I guess like time doesn't matter, right? Like I know I always harp on the time.
No,
the time doesn't matter.
Matters because they are going to the playoffs. But what
But
are
like
your hopes and dreams
when
for this season? Because I'm telling you right now, things are going to change.
In this season?
No.
Oh, season 4. Yeah. Well, they're gonna graduate. People are gonna go off to colleges. Relationships are gonna teeter. Kate, do you predict that Tim and Lila are more likely to stay together or that Julie and Matt are more likely to stay together?
I think Julie and Matt are more likely to stay together, but is Julie a junior or is she a senior?
How old is Julie? That's the question.
I believe she's younger.
Okay, so if in your memory of what happens at the end, at the end of this season, she doesn't graduate with them, assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. My God.
Okay, here, I'll fill in some gaps here. Lily and Mindy.
Yeah, they're gonna get married.
Yeah.
They're gonna get married, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get pregnant too. Maybe all of a sudden they'll be pregnant. It's gonna be fun for everyone. What else? Coach and Tammy. I feel like they pretty much will stay the same for now, at least. Like she'll still be in her position of principal. He'll still be coach. Like that's not really gonna change much.
Kate,
Where was Gracie Bell this episode?
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen her in a while.
Is she on the island?
No.
They just never talk about their kid ever again.
Kate, what would you like what would you like to happen? Like, what would make you happy?
I want to see, all the guys and all the kids get into college and, yeah, I mean, stay together if, I'd like to, I really want to see Landry and Tyra back together. I know that's not going to happen, but I really like them.
Yeah, I predict that's not going to happen, even though I would love that to happen. Oh, Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Cash is going to be bye-bye. He's going to be bye-bye because he's going to break Tyra's heart somehow. But he's going to go. Is Tyra going to get into college?
Is Tyra getting into college?
I think so, yes.
I think so, too. Is Tim and Tyra going to get into college? I mean, it's a little unrealistic that both of them would get in. But also, like, doesn't mean they have to get into these Ivy League schools, they can go to college anywhere. So the fact that they keep harping on like, are they going to get into college? Also the finances though too, right? Like college is not cheap, so they have to get scholarships or they have to get some sort of sports scholarship. Like Tyra won't have that, unfortunately, for her. But for Tim, he might benefit in that situation because he is a good linebacker, right? So it might work out for Tim. But Tyra, maybe she'll get some sort of scholarship too, because it's not going to be cheap. They have no money.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
This is hard. It's hard to predict what I would like to see and what I think will happen. Just for Kate and I are just on like, go to college. They're gonna graduate, go to college.
Yeah, that's the logical next step.
Right? That's what makes the most sense.
All right. We shall see. I mean, there's only 13 episodes in this season, so
yeah,
really close to being done.
And like 13 in next season too.
Yeah. They're pretty
crazy
short.
quick.
Yeah, especially for 2008 television, very short.
Yeah, that's like very unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, last but not least, you know the drill. It's Will's football poetry corner. No huddle. In the no huddle offense, the quarterback calls plays without input from the sideline. JD McCoy runs the no huddle offense and pulls out a victory to help the Panthers enter the playoffs. Meanwhile, Street doesn't huddle with the boys before deciding the price of the house.
Very nice.
Very nice, Will. Very
Sorry,
good.
the water got me.
Thank you so much, Will. Thank you, Kate. This was
a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so
I mean,
not, we don't have favorites here, and of course, Will not being on. But I'm really happy that you got to come on because getting to know you and talk to you every week, and it's great. So thank you.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yay.
Thank you everyone for listening. This is our last episode of
the year.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening each week, for downloading and subscribing. If you're into it, don't forget a great holiday gift that's free would be to leave us an Apple Podcast review.
That's true. Lovely present for us.
That would be awesome. And to rate us 5 stars. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email us at talkintexasforever@gmail.com. We'll see you in January for season 3, episode 8.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Happy New Year!